We'll consider the challenge of stolen, counterfeit, and unsafe products sold to unsuspecting customers online. I'd like to start by showing a brief video that highlights this issue.
The rise of e-commerce has fueled counterfeiting around the world. Some estimate the sale of illicit products could result in more than 5.4 million net job losses worldwide by 2022.
U.S. businesses are going out of business because of counterfeit goods.
Consumer products and pharmaceuticals make up a big share of counterfeit goods. These are especially dangerous because they pose health and safety risks.
Organized retail crime is growing.
Online marketplaces allow criminals to sell items quickly and anonymously.
This is an organized business that is looking to take advantage of consumers.
What we've seen is a shift over to e-commerce.
Confiscated power tools for sale on Facebook. Is it sort of a game of whack-a-mole? You fix it here, but then they pop up somewhere else?
Yeah, certainly.
Unfortunately, in the online space is where you can find some counterfeit, unregulated, and frankly, dangerous toys.
The counterfeits pop up on Amazon within 30 to 60 days of us launching a TV commercial.
The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission filed an administrative complaint charging that some products sold on Amazon are defective and pose a risk of serious injury or death.
This is the original product, and this is the counterfeit, side by side.
Third-party sellers count for about half of what they're selling themselves.
Lots of things can help.
A bill is working its way through Congress that could potentially help in that regard. It's called the Informed Consumers Act, and it would require third-party merchants to be vetted by these online marketplaces.
Even just simple transparency is something that could make a difference.
Can they assure consumers that third-party sellers are not posting dangerous or counterfeit products?
I've been working on this issue since 2008 and enlisted the support of Bill Cassidy, who has been co-sponsor of major legislation on this subject. But it was then that I'd met with representatives of the Home Depot who told me about a problem they were facing. There were certain brands of power tools that they sold exclusively at Home Depot stores. They weren't supposed to be available anywhere else legally, but it turned out these tools were being offered for sale, new, still in the original box, by anonymous sellers on online marketplaces like Amazon. It wasn't hard to figure out what was going on. These tools were being stolen from the original manufacturer and resold online. And it wasn't just tools, it happened with all kinds of products, as we'll hear. Cosmetics, electronics, clothes, over-the-counter drugs, toys, even baby formula. I see some on the table there as an example. Third-party sellers were flooding the internet with products stolen and counterfeited. Often these products posed serious health and safety risks to customers who thought they were buying the original product. Back in 2008, I introduced my first bill to address the problem of illicit products sold online, and the marketplaces told me, don't worry, we're taking care of this. You don't need legislation. Well, here we are 13 years later, and this problem hasn't gone away. It's gotten much, much worse. When you buy products from third-party sellers on online marketplaces, you're really rolling the dice. In 2018, the Government Accountability Office ran a test. They bought a sample of 47 consumer products from third-party sellers on leading e-commerce websites to see how many just might be counterfeit. Out of 47, 20 of the 47 were counterfeit. In January, the U.S. Trade Representative reported that, quote, the rapid growth of e-commerce platforms has helped fuel the growth of counterfeit, pirated goods into a $500 billion industry. $500 billion. And stolen goods continue to be offered online by sellers who pop up, disappear, and then pop up again. Retailers lose $45 billion each year in these schemes. My staff asked Home Depot if their tools are still being offered online as new by third-party sellers. They sent me 9 postings that popped up just last week, and that was a small sample. Here's one of them. A brand of lithium batteries that is only available at Home Depot, being offered for sale in a box by a third-party seller on Amazon for 20% below the retail price. After the fact, one-off investigations aren't stopping the problem. We need to take steps to deter shady sellers from using these marketplaces in the first place. Consumers deserve better than being deceived into buying sham products. Retailers are tired of how easy it is for organized groups of thieves to steal their goods and resell them online. Manufacturers are sick of seeing knockoffs of their products hawked on sites like Amazon. Congress needs to do something. That's what we were elected for. And there are several principles that should guide us. First, if somebody's going to sell large volume of goods online on a marketplace, they should tell the marketplace who they are. Doesn't that sound pretty basic? The sellers should be verified. Second, if a product sold online turns out to be a fake or stolen or dangerous, consumers should be able to report it and find the seller. And the marketplace must ensure that the seller can't just disappear and pop up later under a new account name. Third, if a consumer orders a product from one seller online and the order is actually filled by another company, the marketplace should inform the consumer. Verification, transparency, accountability. No more bait and switch. These are principles we should follow as we work to clean up online marketplaces. I've introduced a bipartisan bill, as I mentioned, with Senator Bill Cassidy, Republican of Louisiana, that promotes these principles. It's called the Informed Consumers Act. I'm honored to have as co-sponsors Senator Grassley, Senator Hirono, Coons, Tillis, Warnock, and Rubio. I thank them all. In the House, our bill is sponsored by my friend, Representative Jan Schakowsky, Democrat from Illinois. She has been a consumer advocate all her life. Before she was ever elected to public office, she was a mom who was raising hell about expiration dates being printed on dairy products. We take that for granted now, but she was one of the originals in that fight. She's joined by Republican Representative Gus Bilirakis from Florida. Her bill has been endorsed by a broad range of consumer groups, retailers, labor, and online marketplaces like Etsy and eBay. And the day after we announced this hearing, Amazon endorsed it too. We've negotiated and worked hard on this bill to achieve consensus, and I hope we can make it the law soon. There are other good bills out there, including the Shop Safe Act introduced by Senators Coons, thank you for being here, and Tillis, which addresses secondary liability for online marketplaces. Today we'll hear from a distinguished panel of witnesses who will talk about the scope of the problem. There is bipartisan support and momentum for addressing it, and I hope we get it done. Now I turn to my colleague and friend, Congressman, Senator. Did I cover every possibility? Chuck Grassley of Iowa.
Well, I thank you for your remarks and thank you for calling this hearing. And it's very important that we look into the roles of big tech in this area. Americans increasingly rely upon the internet to purchase everything from healthcare products and infant formula to iPhone chargers and even automobile parts. Unfortunately, criminals are using the online platforms to sell counterfeit or stolen items that can be very dangerous to consumers. This hearing will explore the problem. We must stop this activity. Thanks to the internet, we can now purchase nearly anything from nearly anywhere. Companies of all sizes can reach new customers all over the world. In the same way, counterfeiters and other criminals are exploiting online platforms. These activities threaten consumer safety and businesses' bottom lines. Criminals can easily open online storefronts on e-commerce marketplaces. Criminals operate under fake names and stolen identities. They use false credentials. If a marketplace takes them down, these criminals simply resurface under a different storefront identity. All the while, their listings look authentic to unsuspecting customers. Counterfeit products are usually substandard and often unsafe. Products often don't meet strict safety standards or comply with quality controls. For example, drug traffickers are using social media and other e-commerce platforms to market their products. We've also seen a spike in professional shoplifters of highly valued items to resell online. According to a 2020 survey by the National Retail Federation, organized retail theft has increased nearly 60% since 2015. Brand owners, manufacturers, and retailers are doing their very best to fight this epidemic, but even our largest companies who can afford to have dedicated staff monitor online don't seem to be able to keep up. Small businesses lack the necessary resources to pursue online counterfeiters. Law enforcement is also overwhelmed. That's why I introduced S. 1159, a bill that was included in the U.S. Innovation and Competition Act, so businesses can get more information to shore up the integrity of their supply chain. Customers should have the same confidence buying online that they do if they went to a mortar and brick store. Consumers have to rely on the accuracy of online listings. So if a product listing consists of misleading images or fake reviews, it's more likely that the consumer will be then tricked into purchasing a counterfeit or stolen goods. It's clear that voluntary efforts by big tech companies, while a very good first step, are not enough. Online companies profit off of every sale on their platform, even if it's counterfeit or stolen. Consumers need more accountability and transparency, including who's operating online and selling these products. We should promote better screening, more transparent seller information, and increase collaboration and data sharing. It's very essential that businesses and platforms work with law enforcement to identify criminals selling counterfeits and stolen goods online. Congress should consider legislation to protect consumers from criminal enterprises operating online. None of the proposed solutions is a silver bullet. There needs to be a multifaceted approach to addressing the problem. Online shoppers deserve to have confidence that they're getting exactly what they're paying for and that their purchases are safe and authentic. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. And while you're at it, please leave us a comment. Thank you for watching.